Welcome everybody to a special live stream. Tonight we are going to kind of go off the beaten path a little bit and discuss some new stuff. We are launching a membership drive um, for the 2023 year, membership year. So tonight we are going to be launching that. We've got some exciting news. We've got a lot of details that we're going to be going through. We're going to kind of explain who the Liberty First Foundation is, what we do, what we are working on trying to do, where we are going, and what some of our future plans are. We're also going to explain a lot about what our members will receive as benefits, whether you are a free member, a paid member, or whatever. So with that, tonight, like I said, we are launching our 2023 membership drive. Now, one of the things we're doing this year is we are going to allow people to pay for memberships. And we're going to do this for $15 a year this year. And essentially, that's going to allow you a lot of exclusive benefits that you would not get normally. Okay, you're going to get a lot of various benefits from exclusive content on our website that's going to only be accessible via members to our paying members. You're going to get early access to a lot of content before everybody else does. So you'll be in the know before the general public is about different events and different things that's going on with the Liberty First Foundation. One of the other things that we're going to be doing is we're going to start pushing a lot more giveaways from the Liberty First Foundation. We are starting to build some relationships with various sponsors. And as we build those relationships with those sponsors, we are going to have access to various items from shooting gear to stickers, hats, clothes, you name it. And throughout the year, as we do that, we're going to be offering these as giveaways to our members. However, the only way you're going to have access to it is if you become a member. With me tonight, I've got Jeremy Primo Libertas Bishop, Frank the Hammer Johnson, and I, of course, am Michael Marshall. I'm going to go ahead. I've already kind of ran my mouth off a little bit, so I'm going to let somebody else kind of take the mic here for a bit.
So, as Michael said, we've been working on this for a while. We're really excited to finally get this out and get this live for you guys, and finally make this happen. And as you can see, the poster in the back there, right behind Frank, one absolutely stunning poster. I mean, without the help of these guys and some friends of mine, we wouldn't have been able to make this happen. And went down and finally got some of the gear dropped off at Red Dot Firearms, where I'm going to be doing a little bit of a video tomorrow. There was some technical difficulties today, we'll call it, and we'll be able to do a video and a promotional tomorrow and meet up with some people there. So if anyone's in the area, please feel free to stop by. I'm going to say between 5:45 and 6 tomorrow. Yeah, Mountain Standard Time, that is. But no, this is great. So we can get this going and help you guys and get some information out to you and get stories out to you faster and give you the exclusive content that our members and everybody deserves, and get some additional information out there, and hopefully get us out to, things like SHOT Show, so we can get the latest and greatest for you. We talked about this a little bit last week, is wanting to make sure that we have the best information for you as fast as possible, so you can come to us when something comes up and ask us questions, and we can give you the answers. Frank?
Well, you guys pretty much covered everything that I was figuring. I actually said, wow, I wish I had a script in front of me to go by, because you guys pretty much hit all of the points. But here's the thing that I want to talk about real quick, is that the Liberty First Foundation was born out of a passion for freedom. And in the course of the last 6 years, we have done an awful lot of good work, and we have met with and worked with a lot of fantastic people, a lot of fantastic organizations, and we have put in the hours, we have put in the miles. Unfortunately, we're uh, always left in a position where we really can't extol our own virtues. We really can't brag about what we do because we take the ball to the 99th yard line, hand it off to somebody else, and then they score the touchdown. Mostly because they've always got the benefits and resources at their disposal that we don't have. What we've always had is the time and the passion. And now we're in a position where it's time that we expand and we start running the ball all the way across the goal line. And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is with support of the constitutional community, because we're not just a gun group, we're a constitutional group. Civil rights is based in more than just one or two of our amendments. And we have run the gamut from the first through the 10th, through the entire Bill of Rights and everything else in between that we discuss and we talk about all the time. And it's a lot of work. And for a very short-staffed organization that's usually, going through the seat cushions looking for every nickel and dime that we can to keep the lights on, it's time that we start asking for a little bit of help from the community that we are trying to help represent. And
you're seeing it. This is our staff.
yeah,
you are literally seeing it. This is the Liberty First Foundation.
I mean, we have a couple of other faces that have been familiar to people who've watched. Michael Vasquez, he's not in here tonight. Our good friend Alex Handyman, he's not in here this evening. Both these guys had prior commitments today, so they were unfortunately unable to be with us for a little kickoff celebration. But like I said, the thousands of hours, I mean, literally thousands of hours, and I don't know how many miles logged driving, flying, on a rail, on a bus, every which way we can go except rocket ship. We've pretty much traveled everywhere that we can go, and we have been funding ourselves the entire time that we've been at it. Now, yeah, there was a time way back when where we sold a couple of T-shirts here and there, but as you could probably well imagine, in a world where let me use my movie voice for that. In a world where the Second Amendment is frowned upon by technical media, it's been very hard for us to produce a lot of the stuff that we want to produce as far as T-shirts, hats, and stuff like that, because a lot of these companies that we work with are not Second Amendment friendly. And as soon as they see a little gun logo on one of our shirts or our hats, they pull the plug on it and we got to go find another source. So the only way that we can do merchandising is by mass quantities of the stuff in all sizes, colors, and fashions, and then try to ship them off out to anybody who's interested in purchasing them. Well, that is something that's really not budgetarily friendly for us to do at the moment. So we have to focus our resources where it's better adapt, and that's doing our research, our phone calls, our letters, our meetings, our traveling, and all of that is so that we always have a good thumb on the pulse of what's going on in the community, so that when something happens, we can either support it, fight it, but always address it. And we need to be able to do that, and we need to expand, and we need to do that with your help. So that's why we've kicked off our annual membership. And at $15 a year is an extremely modest amount of money that we'd be requesting, because when you figure out the content that we're going to be putting out there for our premium members, every other group would be paying a separate fee for a lot of those for the content that we're going to be creating. A lot of other groups would be charging separate fees for some of the things that we're going to be giving away. And a lot of other groups are going to be charging a lot of extra fees just for certain videos and conferences and stuff like that. We're kind of putting it all into one umbrella and saying, listen, we're giving you everything that we could possibly give you, so that you know that every dime that you put out is going to the cause, because we don't draw a paycheck from this. This isn't what we do. We don't draw a paycheck from this. As a matter of fact, I could show you my stack of credit card bills, and Michael could do the same, and so could Jeremy, and show you where household bills are down here and L1F bills are somewhere around here. So it says now.
I want to
Nobody.
pause you for just a second, Frank.
Go ahead.
Jan and Michael, no, we cannot forget you. You guys are part of our team.
Oh yes, of course.
Jan just came on board with us. Michael's been a huge supporter since day one, and he's always been there working with us. So we do not want to forget them. You can see in the chat in YouTube, no sound bites allowed. That's Michael Vasquez.
And make sure you subscribe to his channel as well.
Yes.
Because even though he's based in New York and they call him the Dragon of the Southern Tier, and he's a New York-centric reporter, as it is, he does cover a lot of initiatives that are both nationwide and globally based, things that affect you in your state without you even realizing it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. I mean, Michael does political commentary on his No Sound Bites Allowed, and some of the insights and some of the predictions that he makes of things that are coming out in the political world, not just in the state of New York, but nationally and also globally. He tends to be spot on with a lot of his predictions, and he's normally several months ahead of the curve when he finds that stuff.
Yeah, by the time it's a headline, to him it's old news. He's like, I already covered that months ago. Where were you?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, now, speaking about some of the exclusive content that we're going to be working on. As you know, the Liberty First Foundation has a YouTube channel called The Range Report. And that's me. I host that, and I do all the gun reviews and gear reviews and stuff like that. And when we do the episodes from SHOT Show or the NRA Show or any of the other shows that we go to, Michael will be with me, or Jeremy will be with me, or somebody else will be there. We always try to have at least two people at these events. But when we do the gun reviews, it's primarily myself. Well, those are often free on the YouTube channel. However, there's going to be significant in-depth video reviews of not only guns, but of gear, different merchandise, different tactics, different scenarios. There'll be training tips and tricks that you could use, a lot of different advice. And not just speaking, off the top of my head, I am a certified firearms instructor with multiple credentials. So I do come from a point of experience. But one of the first things that we're going to be working on this week, as far as one of our first premium content videos, is going to be something that everybody should have: a go bag. Everybody should have a go bag. They say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Well, one of the things that every household should have is a game plan in case something immediate distress, some sort of emergency happens. And you should have a bag prepared at your side, somewhere accessible for you to get out of your house with some very important necessities that you may need in the event of a catastrophe. Well, I've assembled one of those bags. We're going to go through all the different things that are in them. And at one point, after we have our 250 first new members, that go bag that I've assembled is also going to be awarded one random member of the Liberty First Foundation. And just to let you know, one of the things that just might find its way in there: fire starting kits, first aid kits, different things like that, just so that you have the means of survival in case the world takes a dump. So that's one of the first things we're going to be doing, and we're going to be revisiting that video over the course of the year, adding or improving upon what's in it. And that'll give everybody who's a premium content member an idea of what to have with them. And you can add to it, subtract to it, what you like. But what we're going to put in that bag are the very essential items that you should have. Well, that's just one example of one of the premium content. And that's not going to be on YouTube. That's going to be privately shared.
Exactly. And that's, we're going to have a lot of exclusive content also. As many of you know that follow us, I tend to be the constitutionalist of the organization. I'm going to be putting together some exclusive content as far as the Constitution goes. Some in-depth teaching, some in-depth history on why the Constitution was put together, why it stood the test of time, and why it is as important today, even though a lot of people don't think it is. Why it's as important today as it was when it was first started back in 1787. Okay, there is a lot of historical significance about the Constitution, and it is it is that. I'm so excited I can't even speak.
Same.
It is as relevant today as it was then. Okay, our country needs it more now because we do have a government that's out of control, and we need to start getting back to the foundation that made this country so great.
And
And-
simply, it's I don't mean to cut you off, Michael. But it's not only it's a government that's out of control. We have a population of people in this
And-
country that have. It's not only our government that's out of control. We have to do the best we can to try and re-educate these folks into what the Constitution means, not only to a country, but what it means to the individual, because that's what our country is founded on more than anything else, is your individual freedoms and liberties. That's why we're a representative republic and not a democracy. And
Absolutely.
as much as our political spectrum has been torn apart, our population finds itself on the precipice of a very dangerous cliff. And if we don't start reaching out to one another and trying to educate one another again on some of the foundational issues that we all share, it's going to be bad. So what Michael is going to be doing with his time and his research and his effort is trying to build that bridge. And hopefully we get a lot of folks from the other side want to come across the bridge and want to work with us.
Well, and as I've explained, okay, the Constitution doesn't care if you're left or right. The Constitution doesn't care if you're Republican or Democrat. It doesn't care. Okay, it is nonpartisan, and the protections the Constitution offers the left, it also offers the right, and we need to be mindful of that. Okay, the Constitution is unbiased, and it is there to regulate our government so that we don't have an autocracy that is literally forcing their viewpoints, their agendas down the throats, even though people don't necessarily agree with that viewpoint or agenda. Okay, our country was designed to be united. Okay, that's why we are called the United States of America. We aren't meant to be divided. And we have a lot of politicians, a lot of people working in government, a lot of people that are working outside of government, that's their entire focus is to divide us. And the more they divide us, the weaker we become. And we at the Liberty First Foundation are working to sow the seeds of unification, sow the seeds of uniting the United States again. And that's a big part of our mission. Okay, it's more than just educating people. It's to build bridges. Okay, even though we may not have the same political beliefs, even though we may not have the same beliefs of role of government, we do share a common belief of we want this country to be great. And with that shared belief, we can build bridges and we can find ways to communicate together that will actually help us to be great. Okay, I'm not going to say make America great again. Okay, MAGA, that's going out there, and I don't believe America's never been great. Okay, I believe that we have become divided, and as a result of our division, we are missing a lot of opportunities that we could really I'm trying to think of the word, capitalize upon, that would put us again as leader of the world. But we can't do that as long as we remain divided.
Absolutely. We'll welcome Vass into the stream here. Vass, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate all your support
you,
and
Michael.
everything you've done for us so far. What's your take on this?
Well, I
These
was just
crazy
busy
guys.
sharing this with a bunch of people across
And
the
we
internet,
appreciate
letting
it.
them know that this is going on. And I wanted to take a moment to join you guys because here's something that I've been doing political commentary for about 17 years now, maybe a little bit longer. And I think there's about 3 times that can be said what I'm about to say. This organization, you gentlemen, have my full support. I stand with you every Friday at 9 p.m. I try and support you in all the events that you go to and all the things that you do. Why? Because in the years that I have been working with each of you individually and as a group, you have been stalwart in your stance on our Constitution, on our rights and freedoms, the Second Amendment. You have been consistent, honest, direct, and open. And that's not to say that, I want people to understand, it's not that we've all 4 of us agreed on every single thing that we've ever said in every discussion. That's not true. It's the fact that we can openly, honestly have a conversation, go through the details, talk about the Constitution, challenge each other on what we know and what we think we know, and make sure that we're trying to come up with the best answer, not just for the YouTube algorithms, but for the fact that we want the truth and we want the best solution for America. That's right, left, everybody in between. And we try and answer our questions, your questions in the audience to make sure that America is going to be the greatest nation it should be. And there's nothing wrong with having America be the greatest it can be, so that we are the beacon that everyone else in the world is looking at and saying, I want to be just a little bit more like America. So, yes, I am happy to be here today to put my full support, my entire endorsement behind Liberty First Foundation, behind L1F, behind each and every one of you gentlemen, because you deserve it. And I think it's worthwhile. And I think everyone that's watching this live or afterwards should take the time to find out a little bit more. And I'm looking forward to writing articles, to being able to do as much as I can, not just on every Friday, but as we go forward.
Thank you very much for that endorsement.
That
Michael.
means a lot.
That
Absolutely.
does. That's huge. Speechless. Okay.
That's always does the right thing to say to make me smile.
And the broadcast is over. He got us. Turn it off.
He always reminds me I have the voice for radio and the face to match. So,
hey, if we can't have fun with each other as we talk about these serious things, sometimes we need to laugh, sometimes we need to cry. And most importantly, we need to stand up together and just say, hey, I want to hear you. How many people don't do that?
Well, that's one of the things that every time that we go live, we always say, if you have a counterpoint of view, if you have a different idea or something like that, please chime off in the comment section. If you want, we will send you the link to come on live and you can debate one of us, 3 of us, 2 of us, all of us, none of us. We'll give you the floor and let you have your piece, let you say what you want to say, because that we're about making that connection, not only on the individual basis, but the connection of ideas. We want ideas to flow. And you may have a point of view that we've never heard of. It would be really hard to come up with one, I think, but you might just find it. We're never going to shy away from it. We're never going to shy away from a question. We're never going to shy away from a discussion. We want to hear what other people have to say, because that's the only way that we're going to get a better idea of what's making the other side think the way they do. Because we might have an idea of why somebody feels a certain way, but until we hear from them exactly why, you could have 1,000 reasons why somebody is anti-Second Amendment. You could have 1,000 reasons why, somebody thinks speech should be regulated in this country. You could have 1,000 reasons for anything. But unless we know what your reason is, we can't debate you on it because we might miss it in our conversation. So we want you to come on. We want to hear opposing points of view. And if you think you can change one of us, hell, we're all open-minded here. We're not, so set in our ways that we can't be swayed. Every tree's got to bend a little before it snaps. So, we're always open to new ideas, but it better be a damn good one.
Well, obviously, and I challenge anybody. Okay, if you think my position or my thinking is incorrect, then prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Okay, and if you prove me wrong, I will admit to it. Absolutely.
You know what?
Okay.
I want to point out something that happened on this show. A lot of people don't. Again, for many people, people search on this search engines. I've been doing this 17 years. It's not a joke. I'm not kidding. There are members of Congress that fear talking to me because I'm known for being very forthright. And I have to say, one of the best conversations I had, one of the most interesting things that happened is I remember there was a conversation that you and I were having, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And you asked me a very interesting question that no one has ever really challenged me on. It was a bill, and there was a question with the constitutionality of it, which has since been shut down by the courts and said it's unconstitutional. But you asked me, well, Mike, how do you know it's unconstitutional? And I was like, well, because I think it broke this this amendment, and I think it violates this law. And you're like, no. But why is it unconstitutional? And we walked through live in front of everyone. Like, okay, here's the part that I was missing. The fundamental, basic reason why this law, because it was a violation of Article 1, as I remember. And it was so basic and fundamental, but yet I had missed it. And you know what? If someone who's been doing this 17 years, who's been on the news media, who's talked with members of Congress, who's talked with federal vice presidential candidates, Dr. Art Laffer, if I'm missing it, I guarantee you, most people in the public are going to miss it. And that's the thing. We need to remember these things. We need to remind each other of these things so that when the politicians with their agendas come on by and say, hey, you don't need that, right? You don't need to question this. You don't even need to think about it. Just say yes, nod your head, agree with the 30-second commercial, and let's take away your rights and freedoms. We can stand up and say, no, you can't do that. And
you don't have the authority.
That's it. And that's, we don't hear that enough. And in all this, I don't care if you're looking left or right, you don't hear enough people who say, no, you do have the power. And here it is in the Constitution. It is your right. It is your power. It is your freedom. And don't let anyone take it away for any reason. Because if it's a reason, if they're trying to do it, they better have a damn good reason. And that's what we talk about so often, and why I love having the conversations with you guys. Because it challenges me to make sure, am I just being biased? Is it just my feeling? Or is this really something we should be concerned about? And that's
Right.
important.
Oh, it is. Okay, it is. And like I always come back to, okay, the first thing that we should always ask whenever we see a politician introduce some or promise some legislation they are going to push through, the very first question that should come out of everyone's mouth, not just ours, everyone's mouth, is, do they have the authority to do that? If the answer is no, it should be question over, done, ended.
Who gave you the right? Yep.
Yeah.
but nobody asks that question.
No, people assume that these politicians are the almighty power that be that can do whatever they want. They don't realize that we don't work for them, they work for us, and they don't have the decision to just do what they want. Like when Obama said, "I've got a pen and a cell phone," and people just went, "Okay." They don't realize that it takes a little more than that to get things done. And even though an executive order may take a little precedence for a time, the constitutionality of it isn't always there. And we need to recognize that and step back and say, well, hold on a minute. I see what you did, but now we either need to A, stop it, or B, take action against it and reverse what you did in the time being. Let's just look at what they did during COVID and the mandatory lockdowns and the insanity that we dealt with there. And it seems that people just went, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you for doing this to us, for saving us from the big bad COVID by locking us in our houses. Well, look what happened. It still went through. But the insanity of people who just accept what the government says is gospel is insane to me.
Well, look at what's happened under the Obama administration. You mentioned it. We had an executive order that allowed the president to use drones to attack and bomb American citizens on foreign soil, and that was something that they were going to continue to do until the people, all of us, got up and spoke about it. What did we see just yesterday? The Intercept, far left news media, came out and said, hey, by the way, the government behind our backs lied to us and has been colluding with social media to silence you, to take away your free speech, your right to, and you know what? It doesn't matter. You don't have to be a content creator. They're taking away your right to watch something. You like anime, they want to take away that right. You want to watch Marvel movies, you want to watch DC movies, you want to see a drama. It doesn't matter what it is. They want to take that away, and they did, in fact, collude with all the social media to try and railroad your thoughts, what you can say, what you can do, because some elite approved of it, but you didn't. And now we know that's what they're doing behind our backs, and we get to speak up because they've been trying to shut down people like us from saying, you can't do that.
And it's not only a matter of them trying to shut down what people say, it's also a matter of them shutting down what you have the ability to hear and what you have the ability to choose, because the First Amendment doesn't only speak about speech. The First Amendment is also about offices and who runs for them and what candidates are allowed to be involved in what particular conference or party or competition or election. We have got institutional problems right now where candidates, individuals who might be considering running for office, are being nullified by the rules that they're doing in the attempts at trying to silence people. Now, you might say, well, that candidate, whichever it might be, left, right, middle, center, it doesn't matter. That guy, that woman, they're a lunatic. They're crazy. There's something wrong with them. They're dangerous. They're this, they're that. Getting rid of that person is good for America. The problem is, while it may be true that somebody might be a dangerous entity, somebody might have controversial points of view or controversial things they say, it's not up to them to make that choice. It's up to you to make that choice. And when you have people being taken out of the electoral process by the system itself, you have to start and ask yourself, are they taking them out for my benefit, or are they taking that person out for their own benefit? Because I should be able to have the right to make my own judgment and decide who I will vote for, who I will vote against. And if some, nameless, faceless entity takes that choice away from you, they're taking away your options. They're taking away your choice. And that is not freedom. That
Remember,
is not
remember there was A few years back, there was that black man dressed as Colonel Sanders, the rent's too damn high guy. Remember that?
Yep.
Now, a lot of people said, well, he shouldn't be on that stage because he's dressed like Colonel Sanders. Who cares? He was talking about an issue that was important to hundreds of thousands of people. Remember, we just went through an eviction crisis. It's still going on in America. We have
McMillan, by the way.
that's it. And we have right now, we have rents. It's part of the inflation that we see in this nation. We know that rent is going up and mortgages are going up right now, at least 11% across this nation. Rent is too damn high right now. But you know what? What happens if someone says, well, that guy, I don't like the way he's dressed. Some official, some guy in the background, some functionary who just does the paperwork and says, I don't like the way he's dressed. He can't speak. Now there's no one on that stage saying rent's too high. Let's do something about it. It's not about him winning. It's about him saying, this is what Americans care about. This is what they're worried about. And if they're willing to say, oh, well, we won't let him talk about that so that the other politicians don't have to talk about the rent being too high, and they don't have to try and work on lowering inflation, lowering your rent, who's going to talk about it?
Well, you hit the nail on. Go ahead. Finish.
No, go ahead. No,
You hit the nail on the head there. So if the government's telling you what you should be worried about or not telling you what you should be worried about, they're trying to hide it. Just like you were saying, they're no longer talking about rent, this and that. They're talking about other stuff that's not as important. And, oh, you should be worried about climate control. Oh, you should be worried about MAGA. Oh, you should be worried about this. But they're not talking about what we should actually be worried about, and that's them. And if you don't think that your politicians are afraid of you, and this just proves it, go ask any of your local politicians for 15 minutes of their time and tell me how fucking hard it is to get in there for 15 minutes. So when we started doing this, the Constitutional Compliance Coalition for the concealed carry and everything, and I went through and I had to first start with the Davis County Commissioner, and it took me, I'm going to say 20 attempts and 10 hours of my time just to be seen by this man. And once I got there and I said, hey, I want to record this conversation. This is what I want to talk about, A, B, and C, and I want to record it. Absolutely not. No, you cannot record this. And at the time, I didn't know what the legality of it was or if I was allowed to or not. So out of respect for him, I didn't. But it was impossible just to talk to him. And every time I would call, it got so bad that when I would call their receptionist, it'd be like, hi, Jeremy, he's not in right now. I'm like, oh, really? Because his car's outside. It's been there for 3.5 hours. And he's there. He pulled up in his car today. I saw him. No, he's not here. He went out for lunch. I didn't see him leave. And it's ridiculous. Just ask for any of your local politicians for 15 minutes of your time or their time, and you'll see how afraid of you they really are.
Well, you know, I'm gonna regale you with a really quick anecdote just about how ridiculous that situation in the U.S. is. Now, you came into that situation with this person. Basically, you're an unknown. You're an unknown. You're off the street. You walked in off of the office. You called up a bunch of times, this, that, and everything else, and you know, well, I don't know who this guy is. Well, all right, so they're gonna give you the broom as often as they possibly can. But when you can't get a 5-minute interview with somebody that you're protecting at every single event, when you're standing next to this politician, you know, and making sure that you are the bulletproof barrier between them and the crowd. And you do this multiple times, time and time again, and walk parade routes for a couple of miles, keeping, you know, certain people at distance, keeping people at bay, and do all the rest. And then that person says they don't have the time to give you a 5-minute interview. And then one of the handlers tells you, well, you're kind of intimidating. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
If I couldn't get an interview with the person who said, I'm trusting you with my life, How hard do you think it is for John Q. Public to get a 5-minute conversation with somebody? That's one of the reasons why. Right here, that logo that's sitting right next to Jeremy's head says Liberty First Foundation and not Crazy Gun Guys of North America, because we wanted to make sure that we were approachable, amenable, the friendly. Who could possibly, be afraid of a little bit of liberty, But even for us, as friendly as we come off, when I tried to get a hold of that David Sikline guy from Rhode Island and asked him if he would elaborate on his statement, "Don't give me that constitutional bullshit." And I wanted him to elaborate. What part of the Constitution is bullshit, Mr. Representative? What? No. So I mean, there was no chance in hell I was going to get him
Well,
to contact me. And I still a single word from the guy running for New York 19 about the way that Mr. Vasquez was treated by some of that person's potential constituents and some of the things that he's been called. So I mean, but here's the thing: we are not dissuaded.
No,
we will continue knocking on doors. We will continue ringing the bell, making the phone calls. I mean, here's my tripod that I travel around with. Think I don't get people's attention? I get people's attention everywhere I go, and we will continue to make the calls on not only on our behalf for the questions that we want answers to, but for the questions that our members need answers to.
Now, I want to kind of expand on this a little bit. Okay. Jeremy talked about the amount of problems he had getting in to talk to the person
the commissioner
trying to. Frank just talked about the problems he's had. Michael, I know, has stories.
I have seen them run from Michael. I have seen them take their interns and throw them away.
Okay, I have some of the same stories. But here's the thing. By building up our membership and building up our name of the Liberty First Foundation, we can start becoming your voice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. This gives us credence to go in and address these people on your behalf. Okay. And that holds weight. Okay. When you try to go in there individually, they see you as a single vote. You're not worth my time. You're just one vote.
That's why they always say
the foundation goes in there with tens of thousands of people behind them. Guess what? They're going to sit up and take notice because that's tens of thousands of votes.
You know what, Mike? Everyone should remember this. What's the first thing? I don't care what level of government it is. The first thing that when you call them up, you send in that letter, you ask someone in person, they're going to always ask you, who are you with? Are you with the media? Are you with an organization? Do you represent a union? It's the first thing. Why? And I want everyone to, you can call any politician you want. The first thing they say is, who are you with? Why do they ask that? Because they want to know how many people you represent, how many voices, how many donations, how many votes, how many people are paying attention to what you say. And the more people that are with the Liberty First Foundation, the higher in that rank you get. There's a reason why the New York Times gets in first, because they have 1 million people reading every article that they do. There's a reason why NBC News gets to be ahead of everyone else, because they have tens of millions of people watching that every day. As we move up, and it doesn't take that many. I know this for a fact, and you can ask the politicians if you can talk to them. They'll tell you it's not going to take that many people, because most elections, look at it lately, 100,000, maybe 5,000 votes difference between one person and another.
Especially when you start talking local races.
Yeah, we got 5,000 people who are with Liberty First Foundation, and we say we represent 5,000 people. We're at the Liberty First Foundation. 5,000 people are paying attention to see what your answer is to our question. They're going to walk us in that door, and they're going to answer us. They're going to give us those 5, 10, 15 minutes that they won't give you because you're just by yourself. That's what this organization can do.
And I guarantee we're going to put them on the spot.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't care who it is, because the very first question out of my mouth every time I talk to them about any of their policies is how are you authorized to do that? And if they can't explain that, I don't care about their policy.
Yeah. They're just making up the power. I mean, just because they say so. Well, you should do this. Why? Because I'm telling you, it's the best thing for you. That's just another people forget, because people don't see these politicians in person. They don't realize they're as dumb as everybody else walking down the street with you. I mean, I've seen these people
And in some
before.
cases, dumber.
And because 99% of them operate in a vacuum, they tend to think that everybody else that they're just as dumb as are even dumber than they are.
Exactly. And people are like, "Oh my God, you got elected." The election didn't give them IQ points. They didn't suddenly get overnight brilliant and they're suddenly rocket science.
It's always amazed me when somebody said years ago in the 2008 presidential race, and somebody said, "Well, what qualifies this person to be president?" And they said, "Well, they've run a great campaign." I don't understand what that means. You've run a great campaign. All right, fine. No, the campaign manager ran a great campaign. You were the mouthpiece at the front of the line. It doesn't make you qualified, that's like, oh God. What makes you think you'd be a good fireman? Well, I know how to start a fire. It doesn't mean how to put one out. It doesn't mean anything.
No, but they get away with stuff like that because they have really nice ads that special interests spend millions of dollars on. I mean, this is for every candidate. They get millions of dollars in some of these races to put on commercial after commercial after commercial made by Hollywood and the like, to make them look like, oh, they look brilliant. They look really good. And the average person never gets to talk to them or ask them a question.
No.
Why? Because it's supposed to make them seem like they're brilliant, they're geniuses, they're what I like to call neo nobles. Going back to
here's what I love.
No better.
Okay. I've been involved in a few town halls around my district. Okay. And whenever I pose a question to them, if that question doesn't fit the agenda they are addressing right then, my question is ignored. Every single time. Okay. And I don't care what office they're running for. Every single time, if my question at any town hall that I've been to does not match with the agenda they are trying to promote at that time, my question will get ignored.
And that's one of the reasons why us having a diverse team of people here is so critically important, because the issues that I take the most heart with may not be the issues that Mr. Vasquez takes the most heart with, which might not be the ones that Michael takes the most heart with, or the ones that Jeremy does. And because Americans and politicians have such extremely short memories, by us being able to take the whole totality of topics that are up for debate at any given time, we are able to digest them as a team and stay on focus, where when we could go in, if I have a meeting with somebody and I'm going to represent what the Second Amendment questions are going to be, I will be able to have paperwork with me to answer ask the questions that Michael or Jeremy would like asked as well. Now, I might not be as schooled on those particular subjects as they are, but if I'm there in their stead, or they're there instead of me, having that diverse team allows us to parse those subjects out and hand them to each other so we can each work on an individual project and cover the bases for somebody else. So when you go to a town hall and the guy doesn't want to talk about this or doesn't want to talk about that, Okay, well, here's a question from one of our other members. What about this one? So we're always going to be able to hit them. We're going to get them with an answer for something. It's just going to be a matter of, what they're not prepared to answer, which tells you more than what they are prepared to answer.
Almost always. Almost always.
I'm
Because
still waiting for Sheldon Whitehouse to get back to me about his membership in the white only country club that his wife is a board member of. The last time I got an answer from them was, well, we have to retain our membership so that we can promote the change within the club. That was a year and a half ago. And I still haven't gotten an answer from Mr. Sheldon Whitehouse. Sheldon Whitehouse, member of an all-white golf club. I'm just hoping, I said that nice and clearly, hoping that the algorithms pick it up and, someone might ask.
And we need to get back to kind of what the whole purpose of this live stream is all about. Okay. We are running our membership drive for the 2023 year. And what allows us to do a lot of what we do is a lot of us have put forth a lot of money to do this. Okay. In fact, all four of us have put out a lot of money to be able to do everything that we do, from our website, from our live streams, traveling different places, getting the interviews, all this stuff. Okay. Those are expenses that we've incurred out of pocket. And our financial resources are limited. Okay. They only go so far. We're not Elon Musk. We're not Bezos. We're not Zuckerberg or any of these other extremely rich people. Okay. We are normal, everyday working guys. Okay. We go to work every day. We've all got bosses. I mean, we do our job, we get paid. Okay. We take, because we are so passionate about that, we take some of our pay that we work hard for and we put it forth, trying to bring you information, trying to address questions that need to be addressed. Okay. We can do so much more. However, our resources only allow us to do so much. That's why we are launching this membership drive. Now, with this membership drive, the first 250 new paid members of the Liberty First Foundation are going to be eligible for a giveaway of a custom engraved Henry Golden Boy 22 rifle. A beautiful gun. Okay.
This one.
You can see it pictured here in our flyer. But that's not the only giveaway that we're going to be doing. Okay. As Frank already alluded to, Frank's going to be putting together a go bag. Okay. And we're going to be giving that away, and a members only exclusive giveaway. Now, your membership, while it comes with a lot of perks, comes with a lot of advantages, you're not paying for entry into these contests. What you're paying for is you're paying for the exclusive content that you're going to have access to that nobody else has access to, only Liberty First Foundation members. You're going to have access to exclusive members only webinars where you can ask us, you can put us on the spot and ask us the hard questions. Okay. You can challenge us in these. There's so many different things that you're going to have access to that non-members are not going to have access to. We're going to have exclusive Liberty First events that are going to be member only events coming down the road. Okay. We're going to allow you, at times, we're going to have polls that are member only polls that are going to help drive how the Liberty First Foundation moves forward. Okay. But you only have access to these if you become a member. Okay. Without being a member, then you're not going to be able to have access to any of this. Okay. Point blank. Says, well,
And also, one of the other things also that we're going to mention is that premium members are going to be able to have a lot closer access to some of what we're doing as far as the premium content is concerned. So, if in the event that you have a special request, something that you'd like to see reviewed or get some more information on something, or get our point of view on something, it's going to be much easier for us to correspond with you and get that information back to you as quickly as possible. Because if we have an idea that our premium members are, I'm going to go back to the gun world real quick. If there's something new and exciting on the market, but not everybody wants, thinks it's the biggest thing, we kind of ignore it because sometimes everybody else is reviewing it. But sometimes you guys might want our take on something. So we'll go out and we'll go get one. And we'll go do the review on it because we know that maybe you trust our word over somebody else's word that you don't know. So, if you do have an option of, I'd like to know about this thing or I'd like to know about that, we may go out and pick up that particular firearm or that accessory or that piece of gear, whatever it is, and do a full review on it and see, and put an article together, and you'll know that you had the influence in getting that out to the people. Because we want to be as responsive as we possibly can to each and every one of the members that's going to be there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Posting more of what we're talking about here and posting out some images of the rifle. I think, I can't wait to see. And I kind of wish I could get into the raffle because a custom Henry rifle, tell me that's not worth it.
Now, is that rifle happen to be handy?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Jeremy. You should have known I was going to ask to bring it on camera.
I'm excited at where we're going. I'm excited with this new membership program that we are starting to offer. We've been building fans for a while now, and now it's time for us to really move forward. And the way that we can move forward best is through offering a membership program. And the more that we can offer a membership program to people so that they can help guide us on how they want us to move forward, the better we can represent people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And also, again, as I've already discussed, okay, everything we've done up to this point has been out of pocket. But our resources can only be stretched so far. And we're going to continue, no matter what we do, we're going to continue doing what we do. But we can do so much more with a little help from the people that support us. It doesn't take much, but this allows us to get the word out to a broader audience. Okay. And by reaching more and more people, that allows us to do even more.
I don't know if you saw his comment. Did you guys already comment on Dal's comment down there? Looks like he signed up today. Dal,
yes,
thank you very much.
Yes.
I think Jan had mentioned something about it. Thank you as well. And Frank had asked about this like, cheap polymer fake. Oh, wait, that's right. Henry doesn't make cheap polymer or fake. This thing it's solid. It is a beautiful and absolutely, sorry about the fingerprints. This thing is just beautiful front to back, top to bottom. They don't make them like this. I mean, Henry is so high quality as it is. I mean, even for a Plinker 22, this thing is gorgeous.
And speaking of someone who owns one and shoots one regularly, it is by far one of my favorite rifles in the collection. And believe me, I could spend, I could count fingers and toes as to how many rifles I have and still need some more limbs to get it done. The Golden Boy is one of the premier rifles in my collection. I absolutely love it. And when we had discussions about what gun we would be doing as for our initial giveaway, it was a unanimous decision. There was no questioning about what we would be able to, what we wanted to be able to offer, because that gun is just, it's so sweet. It really is.
Yeah, and it pains me to know that we have to give it away and I can't keep it.
And the thing is this rifle is legal in all 50 states.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that was one of the things that we were looking at. Okay, while we are constantly in the fight to try to get people to understand, the Second Amendment says what it says, and it does not say what it doesn't say. Okay, the Second Amendment specifically says, shall not infringe.
By the way,
right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
by the way, I want to mention for Peter D, who left the comment about the hammers, which the Second Amendment doesn't cover hammers.
Actually, it does.
Well, yeah, in a way it does. But I want to say it's not that we didn't see your question. It's not that we're not answering it. We're going to be talking about that definitely on Friday at 9 p.m. Today, we want to focus on letting people know that this is one of the things that we do, answering questions just like yours, because not only is it funny, but there's a serious part to it as well. So on every Friday at 9 p.m., we absolutely will be speaking about this. Today, though, we want to focus on that answering that question and talking about how it's going to impact everyone's life across America, because it's not just hammers in California, it's across the United States. And we know what's going to happen with that, taking examples from the United Kingdom. We'll talk about all of that. But today, we want to remind you that the reason why we can answer those questions and why we will answer that question every Friday at 9 p.m. is because of the members who help us make it possible. Because this stuff is expensive. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. Okay, it is.
Yes, and I believe that Peter D. Soma has some pretty good insight into just how expensive this is. But I believe he knows firsthand. I believe he's heard some in-depth late-night conversations about how the hell am I going to afford that.
Yeah. But I just wanted to let him know and let everyone know, because we do see your comments, we do see your questions. We're not ignoring it.
No, and we're not ignoring them. Okay.
No.
Real quick,
we may be
quick
in a
question.
discussion or something.
As far as Jan asked the question, Jan, the lever action rifle is ambidextrous. It can be used by left-handed and right-handed shooters alike. It does eject out of the top of the gun rather than to the side, left or right. So left-handed shooters have just as much fun as right-handed shooters do with that, which is very important. You want to have something, which was, again, another reason why we really wanted to bring that gun to everybody, because it loads from the front, it ejects sort of from the top, and it's great for shooters of left or right-handed persuasion.
If somebody local wins this and they decide to shoot it, they need to invite me to go shoot it with them. Because I'm mad as hell that I can't shoot this one.
Yes, if anybody within 150 miles of any of our locations happens to be the person that receives this rifle, it will be hand delivered. Well, sort of. It's going to be shipped to your FFL, where you'll have to pick it up. You'll have to go pick it up at your FFL and take care of the paperwork. However, the very first thing that gets done with it is that you go on video with one of us and you give a review of that gun to the audience if you want.
Yes. And I couldn't be more thrilled to be giving away such an iconic weapon to one of our members. Okay.
Absolutely.
And it's our way of saying thanks. It's our way of saying thank you for supporting us. Thank you for believing in us. Plain and simple. That's what it is. It's our way of saying thank you. We've been doing this for a few years now, and we've ebbed and flowed, and you've seen us be more active at times, and you've seen us kind of back off. Well, we weren't backing off. We were strategizing. We're coming up with our next moves. When you don't always see us coming out with new content and stuff like that, it's because we are trying to figure out how we can best support the people that support us. Okay. Because that's what our job is. That's what our mission is. Our mission is to support the United States of America. Okay, plain and simple. That's our purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way of supporting that is to protect the rights. Now, everybody looks at the various governmental positions and they think, okay, police, their job is to enforce laws. Okay. They believe that the town council, their job is to pass ordinances. They believe that their congressmen, their job is to pass laws and to spend money. Well, I want to bring back one clear truth. The most important job of anybody serving in a government capacity is to protect the rights of the people. Period. That is their sole job. Okay. And if they go beyond that and they are no longer doing that, you need to question why they are still in office.
Michael, there's this comment from what I see as Facebook user. It says, I signed up, paid, no mention of Henry contest that I saw. You want to address that one? Or maybe there's a question I'm missing?
No, I'm seeing that too. I don't see
I see it as well. I just don't see the name of the person who.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we could probably see that on Facebook. It's probably in the Facebook group that was.
Well, rest assured,
Since we're here, let's address it.
Is, if you signed up and joined up, your name is in the pot.
Yes.
So you have just as much an equal chance of receiving that rifle as any of the other 249 people that we've allotted for this group to select from. So you have just as much of an opportunity to get that, as well as an equal opportunity to. Oh, all right, it's Jimmy Cool. I know James Cool.
Yeah,
James, you got a chance to win, and don't worry about it. As well as any of the other things that we give away. James Cool happens to be
I will. Yeah, James has been a great supporter of us for a long time.
We're going to have to do a black powder video specifically for James. James is a black powder aficionado. Okay, James, if you're watching here, this one is just for you, buddy. Got yet one more black powder added to the collection. So the next time I'm up in Indiana, or you're down here in North Carolina, we may have to take this out to the range, my friend.
Okay. James, I will take a look at the website. Okay, and the contest page in particular, or the sign up page, and see what it says. I thought I added that in there. I may not have. I do know that there is a link for the official rules in there. I do think I made mention of the contest. It may be buried in the text someplace down the way.
Yeah,
So I will double check that, and I will also make sure that I bring more prevalent attention to that.
by the way, and just to let everyone know, we're not webmasters, we're not web geniuses here
Mhm.
in terms of the technology and the coding. But that's part of the reason why we have the video. That's why we have the posters and why we are making it very clear. If you are in the first 250 people to have the full membership, you are entered. That is a fact. So, yes, forgive us if we're a little bit behind on the technology. We haven't made it exactly clear. If you don't see that mentioned, don't worry. You're a member, you are in. That's why we have your information with the membership. That is part of the membership for the first 250. So, this isn't Facebook. This isn't Twitter. Thank God it's not Twitter. We'd have 10 managers and no one to actually do any of the coding. But,
Shit.
So,
Well,
I mean, all of us wear a lot of hats doing this. Okay. I'm the one that primarily takes care of our website. Okay. Frank, Jeremy, Michael all do contribute content, articles, videos, and whatnot. Okay. We all, excuse me, we all are out there also talking to various people, talking to our neighbors, talking to people in political positions. We're even challenging law enforcement, okay, and some of the roles that they are playing, and some of the overreach that we've been seeing happening with law enforcement. Even though we back law enforcement, we still challenge them, okay, because we believe wholeheartedly that the most effective country that we can have is a country that abides by the Constitution. And when we're failing to abide by the Constitution, then we have problems. Period. Okay? When law enforcement exceeds its authority and starts violating rights that are protected under the Constitution, then guess what? We start having tragedies.
that's why we need to trust but verify. Gee, we didn't hear that before. Trust but verify. We trust. We trust our government. We trust our law enforcement, but we need to verify that they are doing the right thing. Because just because we trust you doesn't mean that we're giving you carte blanche to just do things. Always have to double check. Have to verify. Somebody has to keep them on the straight and narrow. That's what we're here to help do.
Let's see. Yeah, Jan, I think you're right. There's also an issue there, Michael, that if you go to the website and you click on it, it looks like we have some fine tuning to do. It says if you go to the website and there's a link below, there's not. But if you just use the L1F.us/L1F membership drive, it will take you straight to it. So I've confirmed that link that's posted here on our screen down below, that is an active and valid link. If you type that in, it will take you straight to the sign up. So again, we are not technology geniuses. We're not geniuses in many things, but hey, we're here.
Oh, there you go.
That said that we're all here for our own reasons. They just keep me around to lower the age group.
Okay. So I'm going to actually hold on just a second. Present. Share screen. And I think I know what the confusion is, and I will correct this.
You get on that, sir.
Jan saying that the hyperlink isn't being highlighted on the link. The link is there, but it's not highlighted.
Okay.
It's a coding thing.
Okay. So right here where it says membership drive promotion.
Yep.
That's the link. Okay. And if you click
Yeah, and
that, it will
Problem
take
is-
you to,
Yeah, that's a coding thing. It's black instead of blue, which is usually hyperlink blue. That's
Yep.
why people aren't noticing it.
yeah. Okay. But I'll fix that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coding.
And this here is also yeah, I do need to do some work on this page as well. Highlighting the contest.
But we need you to point
Do you
that stuff
remember-
out for us.
Do you remember Saturday Night Live when it debuted in,
Oh, God.
1972? You remember? You know what they called the cast of Saturday Night Live?
Not ready for primetime players.
There you go, buddy. You're gonna live in a van down by the river.
Yeah.
Sorry for the confusion and the hiccups, but this has been an extremely tumultuous week for all of us, and you have to bear with us the couple of little hiccups here and there. We're only human, as the song goes, but at least the database is up to date, so everybody's who's registered is registered. So don't worry about that. And as far as James, Facebook user Cool said, I already have 2 of them Tootin' Henry rifles. If I win that one, I'll donate it back to you.
No,
You can't
this is
do that.
one of a kind. This is the only one
You
there
may
will ever
have
be.
a couple of Henrys. I got a couple of Henrys, but you don't got one like that. I'm
This
sure.
is very
I'm
true.
sure I'm sure your lovely better half would have just as much time, a good time shooting it as you do, James.
And the thing is also as we grow in members and as we grow in our reach, we're going to be able to develop relationships with various manufacturers. Like we've already developed some relationships, like we have a very strong relationship with 5150 rifles. And in the future, we are going to be able to start offering those as part of our giveaways.
That's gonna be
Okay. But the thing is we have to have the resources to be able to do that. Okay. And the way we are going to be able to gain these resources is through growing our memberships. Okay. Growing our reach.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
By the way, if people are looking at us and going, why are a couple of the guys chuckling? We can see your comments. You're not seeing it on the screen, but we see all the comments that are being, and people are cracking a couple of jokes.
yes. Frank needs some White Castles. Yes, Frank needs some White Castles. Unfortunately, my source of White Castle delivery is coming in for a visit this weekend. However, he's coming in by plane, and they don't serve White Castles at 36,000 feet. So I will be Sans White Castle for a little while. We actually charted. We figured out last week that the nearest White Castle to where I live is 4 hours and 20 minutes away. So we're going to plot a road trip specifically to go get 3 or 4 suitcases of White Castle hamburgers. We're going to call ahead, have them say we're coming in at certain time, have them prepared, have them ready. So, and for those who don't know, a White Castle hamburger in a suitcase, they come 100 White Castle hamburgers in a suitcase, and myself and my good friend Peter have been known to devour an entire case.
White Castle is called White Rose outside of the northeast of the United States. So sometimes people know it as the White Rose. Same
White
company.
Rose.
Yeah.
I
Don't
will
ask
have
me
to
why,
check that out as well. But
Well, we don't have either one near me.
No.
no, and so far I've only experienced Whataburger once.
Yeah, that was when we were in Vegas.
Yeah, Yeah.
That was when we were in Vegas with our great friend Dick Heller.
Yeah, a great friend and other partner in this, Mr. Dick
Mhm.
Heller, who you might know from Heller versus DC. Not that we want to drop names, but one of our premier
Yeah.
membering partners happens to be the guy who won the biggest Supreme Court case in history. Happens to be with us. So, you know, take that and stick it.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's amazing the
Okay.
great people you get to meet sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
Well-
will be right back.
Mike
Okay.
is thinking of step away.
but no, guys. In all seriousness, first of all, we're so grateful for all of you guys that join us every Friday, and people who've showed up tonight and commented, and people who've already signed up. I can think of at least 3 people who've already signed up just tonight in the last hour. That's unbelievable. You guys are amazing. We do this for you, and we couldn't do it without you. And I mean, I am so mad that I have to give this thing away. I cannot believe it that it's got to
Now-
go. But
There are only 3 firearms in existence that have that Liberty First Foundation logo.
I have 2 of them.
Jeremy currently has 2. I have 1. Jeremy's going to lose 1.
No.
I mean, yeah, Jeremy's going to lose 1. So we got to get 2 other ones. We got to for the 2 Michaels. So
Oh,
they
yeah.
have 1 each that we got to figure out what to do. And I think I have an idea of how we're going to make that happen. But
No.
Well, they're both in New York, so we should get them water blasters with it on there.
yeah, we'll get them some gel blaster BB guns.
Gel blasters.
No, those are legal.
No.
You're not supposed to say that.
There's almost nothing in New York State that isn't illegal anymore. I tell you, it's crazy.
Well,
I'm sure they're going after hammers next.
It's perfectly legal to be a jackass politician there.
Well, that's always legal because they're Democrats.
That's endorsed.
Oh, yeah.
And don't carry a squirt bottle in a sensitive area.
Yeah, really. God help me.
but hey, listen, folks, we were only supposed to do this for about a half hour tonight. So far, we're already in an hour and 23 minutes.
We're excited.
Yeah, we're excited. This has been a
Yeah.
big day. This has been a culmination of a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And believe me when I tell you, if you think it's difficult working with people in an office setting and being productive when you're right next to one another, imagine how difficult it is to try and get things done when we're spread apart by, a 1,600-mile road trip wouldn't get the 4 of us together in time. So we are doing this over phone, over text, over conference call, at any given moment of time, over different time zones, different locations. So everything that we do, it's really a coordinated effort. So
Absolutely.
it's been really, really hard, but I got to tell you, I have worked in places where the guy standing next to me had to put his life in my hands, my life in his, and guys that I've been through doors with, that I would never in my life ever doubt a minute of them. And I can say the same about these guys. These are the true blue American patriots that are doing what they do every day because they love this country. They believe in what it stands for, believe what it represents, and all that it could be for every one of us. And I would not associate myself with anybody of less caliber than these men if I ever had the opportunity to. These guys are the best. And they're my brothers. That's all I can say. These guys are my brothers. I love them. And they make all of this work a joy. A joy. It really is. So I'm going to get out of here because I'm getting teary-eyed and tired. Oh, and just to let you know, I spent 3.5 months putting together my Halloween costume because I couldn't decorate my house. I could not decorate my house because I still can't go up and down ladders, and I couldn't string up the lights and put the spooky stuff out and everything else. And truth be told, I usually tend to scare the shit out of the kids, and they don't come back. Well, I've actually seen them come to the cul-de-sac, look at the house, and go next door because they don't want to come here. So I spent 3.5 months putting together the perfect Jack Nicholson version of the Joker. even to the point where I went out and bought the 16-inch long barrel revolver.
Yep.
How the hell did you do that quicker than I could? I went out. That tuxedo I'm wearing is a $700 custom-made tuxedo that I actually had to find at the Salvation Army because they didn't make it in my size anymore, along with the with 4X, everything perfect, the gauntlets, everything. Spent 3.5 hours putting the makeup on. 4 minutes. That's all it took for my fat ass to sweat all of the makeup off because it was thundering, lightning, on 100% humidity out here yesterday. So for 4 minutes, I got to walk around as the Joker and then had to go in and peel all that crap off my face.
funny.
If I could be that dedicated to one friggin' holiday, one holiday that you don't even get a paid day off for, imagine how much dedication we have for the Second Amendment and for everything else that we do.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right,
Absolutely.
I'm getting out of here. My friends, I love you guys. God bless you all. For those of you that signed up, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for anything else. Thank you for trust.
Absolutely.
And we promised to not only confirm that trust, but to build upon it.
We
Love
do.
you guys.
Okay.
You guys have a
And-
good night.
Okay.
Be safe and shoot straight.
You
Thank
too.
you, Frank.
Good night.
You have a great night.
Folks, remember, this is not the only night. I don't want people to think, oh, well, it's November 2nd. I missed out. That's
No.
not the case. So if you're seeing this, if you haven't seen it live, you're seeing someone shared it with you, please do share. Please do
Please.
like. Subscribe as well. But if you missed it on November 1st, the day of the announcement, don't think it's too late. It is still plenty of time for you to sign up to be able to be part of the raffle for the custom Henry rifle. You're still able to be, you're still qualifying to be able to get all of the discounts, all of the things that we are working on for you. So I don't want anyone to think, oh my God, I just missed that one window. They ended the life. It's not over.
No.
It's not over.
And we'll be back once a week talking about this. Probably a little bit shorter than our hour and a half tonight, but we'll be back weekly to talk about this. And
Oh,
no, and I
and
want
actually, we're going to probably be back multiple times throughout the week discussing this. Okay. It may only be a 5-minute blurb here or there. Just reminding people, okay, that this is an ongoing event.
absolutely.
Okay. Until we actually reach our 250 members, this will be an ongoing event. Now, the sooner that we reach that milestone of 250 new members, the sooner that we can actually jump into our next promotion, which is going to be even better. But we have to reach our first milestone first. Okay. We've got goals. We need you to help us reach those goals.
Absolutely. Yeah, couldn't do without you.
Plain and simple, we wouldn't exist without you. Yeah, we have the drive, we have the passion, we have everything else. But if it wasn't for people like Jan Rains, James Cool, Dahl, Peter, and many others, Agent Black, that have supported us along the way, we wouldn't be here. Okay. Sure, we could talk to ourselves. We could talk to empty forums. Okay. But that doesn't get our word out. Okay. It's these fine people that have allowed us to expand our reach. Okay. And it's through our members that we are able to reach more and more people. Okay. With that, I want to say thank you to everybody who has supported us along the way. I want to thank everybody that's commented tonight. I want to thank everybody that signed up. And I want to thank everybody that's going to sign up. We appreciate you all. Okay. Your willingness to become a member of the Liberty First Foundation will only go to help us expand our reach and to reach people that we normally couldn't reach. Okay. We are working diligently at defending the Constitution of the United States. We're working diligently to restore it to its original intent, which was not so much to limit the government of the United States, but to unite the United States. And right now, we need to become united. Everybody's trying to divide us. The Liberty First Foundation is standing here saying today, ignore the division, start uniting. The only way that we can actually restore our nation is with us starting to come together. We may not always see eye to eye politically, we may not always agree on the best course for this nation. But until we unite together and start having dialogue, start communicating with one another, and quit trying to say that the other side is evil, we will not go anywhere. All we will end up doing is destroying ourselves. Okay? Our country needs to be able to have open debates. Our country needs to have multiple viewpoints. That's what made us great to begin with. That is what will make us great going forward. If we allow ourselves to be divided, then we are going to do nothing more than destroy ourselves. Even today, we are still recovering from a war that was dividing our country.
Yeah.
Okay? And we are headed that way again if we don't start coming together. The mission of the Liberty First Foundation is to unite the United States. And we unite underneath the Constitution. So with that, I want to say thank you to everybody. Like, share, subscribe.
Yes, please.
Join us here every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, where we have open dialogue about various political happenings across the world. And we have serious debate and discussion about it. Okay. Tonight was a change of pace. Okay. And we want to start putting together things for you, our members. But we can only go do so much. We need your help.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everybody that's watching. With that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off.
Good night, everybody.